Hello fellow adventurers, Brian with Critical Cards. Please go to the website, sign up for the newsletter so you don't forget, because the Kickstarter launches in April 27th, and this Kickstarter is for D&D spell cards that are concise information and it's organized better. You don't read paragraphs, you have a card, it's awesome. Tell your friends. Okay, I'm gonna try and jump into this as fast as you can. So, if you are in very, very cold weather, or if you're in weather that's over 110 degrees, you cannot do my style of making weapons, because spray paint either will destroy itself when it's really cold, or is a danger to you when it's really hot. Don't do that. All right. You do want to try and mix it up. You hear this little thing? That's a ball. And that ball is mixing up the paint. You do want to have a bunch of junk rags, and like I said, you want to have a respirator. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to spray. This is an Overwatch gun that I'm working on. I'm going to spray this fellow from about 2 to 3 feet away, but unfortunately, there's no way to get into these little places like that. So when you spray paint very close, you get drips. We've all seen that cool graffiti on Spider-Man, Spider-Verse. So I want that dark area to be dark. So I just go ahead and I spray in there. But if you leave that puddle, it's gonna look like a puddle on top of your gun. So that's when you either with your hand, if you're trying to just be ghetto about it, or you have your cloth and you dab. So if you're thinking about it, you want to try and do the parts that are going to get a hole really, really wet first, and then you want to spray from 2 or 3 feet away. Either you can lay it on the ground, or you can kind of hold it at arm's length. It all depends on how much paint you want to get on your forearms. If you do this on a regular basis, I do advise you to get an orange-based degreaser, kind of like auto mechanic yada yada. It does take off paint. It also does take off the oils in your skin, so a little bit. So if you have sensitive skin, I don't know, don't do this style of cosplay stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go spray this. I'm going to spray very, very gushy, a watery amount into these places like that. I'm going to tap it off, and then I'm going to lay down a nice spray all along here. The other thing about my particular way of making cosplay weapons is they don't shoot afterwards. It just, everything gets gunked up. They are art pieces. If you want to go shoot crappy little Nerf darts, go do it with a normal Nerf gun. I'll be back, and I will have sprayed this fellow nice and dark. You want to start off with your... Shit, I'm so sorry. You want to start with dark because that's where grime, that's where shadows are, and somewhat when you're making these weapons, you are trying to think like an artist. You're trying to think like a 3D artist. You're trying to think like an illustrator. And you are trying to think about real life. So every time you've seen a car, every time you've seen something with the grime isn't on the nice, easy parts to wipe off. The grime is in those little grooves. So that's why I start with black. Sometimes I start with brown, but almost always I start with black and put on layers as I need to. All right. You will see this thing nice and dark in just a second. Bye. No, you can't do Luke, I am your father. Oops. Now, sometimes I just said you don't want to have all those drips. Sometimes you want to do that. Sometimes you do want to have drips on purpose. Think about what you're doing. Think what you're trying to achieve for your end goal. I need to put my mask back on. One other safety thing. Even if you have a mask and stuff, if you're in a small space, you're going to get spray paint basically in your eyes. You won't notice it, but it's probably not good for you either. All right, so now I'm gonna go do this from 2 or 3 feet away. I will do the handle last where my hand is, and I will probably put it on the ground, do the handle, put it on the ground, do the handle, and then everything will have been covered, except for this neat little guy here. I will probably do that last. All right, I gotta put this mask back on. Bye. Critical cards, D&D spell cards, tell your friends, and sign up for the newsletter. Bye.